If you enjoy leveling up characters, collecting items, and action-packed combat, ARPGs are your genre of choice. The best ARPG games for Android offer just that, offering customization, epic stories, and real-time action. And the best part? You can progress at your own pace while enjoying the thrill of combat and adventure. If you're into open-world adventures with a mix of action and RPG elements, Genshin Impact is a must-try. The game's world is breathtaking with vast landscapes, elemental powers, and smooth combat that feels super satisfying. What's cool is how you can switch between characters mid-battle, each with unique abilities to create different combos. It's also a gacha game, so collecting characters and weapons become a bit of an obsession. Plus, the regular updates keep things fresh, introducing new regions, stories, and events. The only downside is that it's so addictive. This one's a wild ride. Honkai Impact 3rd offers a fast-paced hack-and-slash experience with jaw-dropping animations. The combat is fluid, the visuals are stunning, and the storyline dives deep into an epic battle between Valkyries and otherworldly forces. You'll love how each character has a unique fighting style and there's always some new event or character to unlock. The bosses can be brutal, but it's so satisfying when you finally take them down. If you're a fan of intense combat, this game delivers in spades. The moment you jump into Diablo Immortal, you feel like you're in the middle of an intense dungeon crawler but on your phone. The combat is familiar to anyone who's played Diablo before. Slashing through hordes of enemies and collecting loot is incredibly satisfying. The game's graphics are top-notch for a mobile ARPG, and the co-op multiplayer features make it even more fun to raid dungeons with friends. There's always something to do, whether it's crafting, upgrading gear, or jumping into PvP battles. It's solid entry in the Diablo series, especially for mobile games. The action in Darkness Rises feels like something out of a console game. The hack-and-slash combat is incredibly smooth, and the game does a great job of immersing you in its dark fantasy world. One of its coolest features is the ability to Soul Link, which lets you control enemies and turn them against their own. There's also a deep character customization system, so you can really personalize your hero. AnimA ARPG feels like a love letter to classic Diablo fans. The dark, gothic atmosphere and challenging dungeon crawling gameplay really hit those nostalgic notes. The combat is fast and brutal, with a variety of abilities and skills to choose from, depending on your class. It also offers an offline mode, so you can still play when you're without an internet connection, which is a nice bonus. As you grind through dungeons, you'll be rewarded with tons of loot to upgrade your character. If you're craving something that feels more like Dark Souls on mobile, Pascal's Wager is your game. It has a dark and mysterious atmosphere, challenging enemies and combat that requires you to be strategic, button mashing won't work here. The story is deep, with a focus on exploration and unraveling the world's secrets. What sets it apart is the high-quality voice acting and deep lore, which pull you into the experience. The game is a bit more serious than others on this list, but if you're up for a challenge, it's totally worth the download. Bladebound is a visually stunning RPG that packs a punch in terms of fast-paced action. It's easy to pick up, but has enough depth to keep you hooked with its various game modes and challenges. The game also boasts a rich crafting system where you can forge and upgrade weapons, add an extra layer of customization. What I love is how you can unleash powerful spells during battles to wipe out hordes of enemies in one go. If you're into dungeon crawling and love collecting loot, Dungeon Hunter 5 is right up your alley. The game offers a traditional hack-and-slash experience with tons of weapons, gear, and skills to unlock and upgrade. It's visually impressive, with vibrant environments and fluid combat. The co-op mode lets you team up with friends to tackle dungeons, which make the game even more engaging. Iron Blade brings medieval fantasy to life with its brutal combat and immersive storyline. It's a bit more linear than some of RPGs, but the intense action more than makes up for it. The combat mechanics are super responsive, letting you chain attacks and parries like a pro. There's also a PvP element where you can raid other players' fortresses, adding a nice layer of competition. And the visuals, absolutely top-notch for a mobile game. Grimvalor blends platforming with RPG elements in a way that feels unique and refreshing. The combat is fast, fluid, and requires precise timing, especially against the game's challenging bosses. The dark, brooding atmosphere adds to the tense of adventure, and the story slowly unfolds as you explore the beautifully designed levels. You'll also be upgrading your character and abilities as you go, which keeps things feeling fresh. It's one of those games that's hard to put down once you start. SoulCraft has been around for a while, but it still holds up as one of the better ARPG for Android. The game takes place in a world where angels, demons, and humans are fighting for survival, which gives an epic feel right off the bat. The combat is pretty straightforward, but there's enough variety in skills and abilities to keep things interesting. One of the best features is the ability to switch between 5 different game modes, each offering something a little different. Raziel Dungeon Arena offers the classic dungeon crawling experience but amps it up with beautiful graphics and smooth, intuitive controls. It has a huge single-player campaign with dozens of dungeons to explore, but what's really great is the co-op mode where you can team up with friends to take down bosses and farm loot. The game also lets you switch between different heroes, each with their own abilities which keep the gameplay fresh. If you're looking for something more lighthearted and colorful, Tales of Wind is a great pick. The RPG has an anime-style aesthetic that's easy on the eyes, combined with action-packed gameplay. It's a mix of MMO and ARPG, so you'll be completing quests, battling monsters, and teaming up with other players in a vibrant fantasy world. There's also a pet system where you can collect and train cute companions to help you in battles. Knights of Pen and Paper 2 is a quirky and unique ARPG that's more about humor and strategy than fast-paced action. You're basically playing a game within a game, as you control both the players and the dungeon master in a tabletop RPG setting. It's full of jokes, references, and a lighthearted tone that makes it stand out from more serious ARPGs. Implosion Never Lose Hope feels like you're playing a console-quality ARPG on your phone. The game's graphics are stunning, and the combat is super tight and responsive. You control a battlesuit, slashing and shooting your way through hordes of enemies with smooth animations and powerful special attacks. The story is surprisingly engaging, with voice acting and cutscenes that add depth to the post-apocalyptic world. Shadowblood gives you that classic ARPG vibe with intense, fast-paced combat and tons of customization options. The graphics are beautiful, especially when it comes to the flashy skill effects during battles. You'll be diving into dungeons, fighting bosses, and collecting loot to upgrade your character's gear. The real-time PvP battles are also a highlight, letting you test your skills against other players. It's the kind of game that keeps you hooked with daily events and challenges, always giving you something to work toward. Lineage 2 Revolution takes the massive world of scale of MMORPGs and brings it into the mobile in a way that feels epic. The game's huge, with large-scale PvP battles, guilds, and world bosses that make it feel alive. The graphics are stunning for a mobile game, and the auto-combat feature makes it easy to grind through levels if you don't want to micromanage every battle. A3 Still Alive is an interesting mix of ARPG and Battle Royale, which isn't something you see too often. The game has a dark fantasy setting with an engaging storyline and fast, fluid combat. What makes it stand out though is the 30-player Battle Royale mode, where you can fight for survival while still leveling up your character. It's a fresh take on the ARPG genre, offering both PvE and PvP elements in a single package. Inotia 4 brings back the classic ARPG style with a retro look and feel. The game is packed with a deep story, tons of quests, and 6 different classes to choose from, each with their own unique skill sets. It's a bit more old school compared to some of the newer ARPGs, but that's part of its charm. The story is engaging, the characters are interesting, and the combat is solid. Dungeon Hunter Champions mix the best of ARPG and MOBA elements, creating a unique gameplay experience. The game features fast-paced combat where you control a team of heroes, each with their own abilities to fight through dungeons and bosses. What's really fun is how you can mix and match your champions to create powerful combos. The game also has PvP modes where you can compete in real-time battles against other players, which adds layers of strategy to the gameplay. Hyper Light Drifter brings a beautiful pixel art style with smooth, fast-paced ARPG combat. The game is all about exploration and covering hidden secrets and mastering your combat skills. The world feels mysterious, with a story that's told more through its visuals and atmosphere than dialogue. Eternity Legends blends sci-fi and fantasy in a way that feels epic and refreshing. You control a team of powerful heroes, each with their own unique skills, and fight through waves of enemies in both PvE and PvP modes. The game is fast-paced, with flashy combat animations that make every battle feel intense. What's really cool is the ability to summon huge mechs to aid you in battle, adding a whole new layer to the action. Arcane Legends is one of the more accessible ARPGs, and it's perfect for players who want a mix of casual and hardcore elements. The game has a vibrant fantasy world where you can team up with friends and other players to complete quests and tackle dungeons. The pet system is a standout feature. You can collect pets that aid you in battle with unique abilities. The gameplay is smooth, and it doesn't require a massive time investment, so it's easy to pick up and play whenever you want. Dawnblade throws you straight into fast hack-and-slash action with beautiful graphics and a deep loot system. The controls are super intuitive for a mobile RPG, making it easy to dive right into the combat. You'll be slashing through hordes of enemies, collecting loot, and upgrading your character with new gear and skills. The game has a strong focus on progression, with plenty of dungeons and events to keep you busy. Undecember is one of those games that makes you wonder how they fit so much content into a mobile title. It's got everything: fast-paced combat, in-depth skills trees, and a rich, dark fantasy world to explore. The game's graphics are stunning, and the amount of customization available is insane. You can really fine-tune your character to fit your exact playstyle. ZENONIA 4 is an all-time favorite for anyone who's been into mobile RPGs for a while. It's got the classic pixel art style combined with fast-paced, action-heavy gameplay. You'll be battling through hordes of enemies, leveling up, and unlocking powerful skills as you progress through the story. The game has a powerful balance between combat and exploration, with tons of quests to complete and areas to discover. Monster Hunter Stories brings a different flavor to the RPG genre by focusing on turn-based combat and monster collecting. It's a mobile adaptation of the popular console game with gorgeous visuals and a charming, colorful world to explore. Instead of hunting monsters, you befriend them, which adds a fun twist to the classic Monster Hunter formula. The combat is strategic, and you need to think about how you use your monster's abilities in battle. Soul Knight is an awesome mix of roguelike elements and ARPG mechanics. You explore procedurally generated dungeons, shooting and slashing your way through enemies with a variety of weapons and abilities. The game's pixel art style is charming, and the gameplay is fast, chaotic, and addictive. Every run feels different, and the loot system keeps you constantly upgrading and experimenting with new builds. Ragnarok M Eternal Love is a mobile adaptation of the classic Ragnarok Online, and is perfect for fans of old-school MMOs with ARPG elements. The game has an open world filled with quests, dungeons, and bosses to conquer, all set in a charming anime-inspired universe. It's got a deep job system allowing you to specialize your character into different classes and playstyles. Sword Art Online Integral Factor shows you the ride into the world of the Sword Art Online, where you're trapped into a virtual reality MMORPG. The game combines fast-paced action combat with an interesting story where you and other players must clear each floor of a massive tower to escape. What's cool is that you can customize your character's skills and equipment to suit your playstyle, and the co-op features let you team up with friends to take down powerful bosses. Final Fantasy Brave Exvius brings the magic of the Final Fantasy universe to mobile with a mix of classic turn-based combat and ARPG elements. The story is rich and full of the depth you would expect from a Final Fantasy game, with memorable characters and epic moments. The gacha system lets you collect iconic heroes from across the Final Fantasy series to build your ultimate team. The combat is strategic, and the special abilities are beautifully animated. So, did you like the games I recommend? So leave your like, subscribe to the channel to follow me, and activate the bell, because I post a lot of videos on this channel and you can't miss it. Thank you very much for following me this far, and until next time, bye!